Have you noticed how more and more websites are using HTTPS, but you haven't upgraded yet? In this video, I will go over some key reasons why you need to upgrade to HTTPS today.
Hey guys, Chris Love, the owner of Let to Dev. In this video, I just wanted to go over 5 key reasons you should use HTTPS today. And if you aren't using HTTPS on your site, you're really missing out on a lot, as you'll see as this video progresses. Now, first off, HTTPS to an end user implies trust. You get that green padlock up there in the address bar, and that's because you've got a valid certificate. Just basically encrypting or securing the communication between the browser and the server. And those certificates are issued by a trusted certificate authority. So there's basically a third party that is verifying who you are, and so that identity is there, so that they really feel comfortable knowing that they're talking to you and not a third party or a bad guy trying to do some sort of man-in-the-middle or passive attack on the communication between the browser and the server. Next, the browsers are really getting more aggressive in displaying visual cues to end users if a site is secure or not secure. In fact, this summer, in the summer of 2018, Chrome will start displaying the not secure in the address bar where the green padlock is if the site is served over HTTP, no matter what. Right now there are some gates, what we call gates in place, or qualifications. So if you have a login form, for example, with a password field, anything that has an input type of password will require HTTPS in Chrome, or you will get the not secure. If there's any kind of what they would deem to be sensitive data being collected, you'll also get the not secure. And so this is a very important part of making sure that the visitors to your site know that everything is secure and that they can trust you. The browsers are going to get real aggressive in telling people that you're not secure. Now, this is a very big one, and if you didn't know this, a key ranking signal to search engines is using HTTPS. Non-secure sites are finding it harder and harder to earn usable or really good search engine placement. Now, there are still some places that I'm finding that I can find HTTP served sites, and honestly, I'm going after them if I'm in that niche. And that's because, I'm not saying I'm going after them, I'm going after their position in the search rankings because I have a secure site. So I feel like I can outdo them, so to speak. And so that's one big thing right there that can keep you from a lot of organic search traffic. And this is traffic you don't have to pay for, visiting your site and your brand and starting that relationship with you. And that can cost you a lot of money in the long run. A big pushback against certificates is that they have been too expensive. Now, in the past, and I'm talking about the 90s and early 2000s, typically certificates were $100 or more a year. And to most businesses, that's very cost prohibitive, especially if you're just a blogger. But today, that has really changed. Let's Encrypt is the most well known at this point. They provide free certificates. Now, you do have to go through some technical steps to get that certificate, but you can issue a certificate for free. It is a domain validated certificate, which is effectively the lowest validated certificate. It's nothing different with the encryption layer, but they are free. I host all of my properties in Amazon's AWS. And because I use the CloudFront service for CDN, I can use their certificate manager, which offers free domain validated certificates. And so that is free. Azure and Google Cloud also provide free SSL options or TLS options for using their CDNs as well. Now let's just look at, this is a little bit outdated, this is from last summer. This has gotten even bigger since then. But Let's Encrypt publishes an ongoing graph of all the certificates they've issued over time. And as you can see, this is a very steep upward climb that Let's Encrypt has issued certificates for, and this keeps getting bigger. You're seeing 50 million there. I know the number is over 60 million right now, and I'm talking to you in March of 2018. So this number just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it just shows how important the free SSL option or TLS option is to the marketplace. Now, here's another big one. If you're wanting to use modern APIs in the browser, and there are way many of them, I mean, just lots of them, that most of them, developers and people, honestly, I don't think they know they exist, they're being gated behind HTTPS, especially if during the specification process of a particular standard determines that there might be sensitive or data that you just don't want to get public being transferred or used, it's going to be behind HTTPS. Now, some of these features include service workers, which is a huge deal right now for progressive web applications. HTTP2, which works that can make your HTTPS pages load even faster than they loaded under HTTP. Another thing I've been using a lot lately is WebRTC, or the Media Capture API. That's where you can use the camera and the microphone in the browser and live stream feeds. So for example, Skype can actually work in the browser using WebRTC. So that's pretty cool. Geolocation's been around for a long time, but that's being gated behind HTTPS because sharing your position to essentially in plain text, it could be a problem for hackers to be able to find out where you are and all kinds of things. So any kind of time there may be some sensitive or personal data being transferred, it's probably going to be gated behind HTTPS because it's just safer to do so. Okay, like I've already mentioned, HTTP2 can and typically will make your pages load faster than HTTP1, even though it requires HTTPS. Now the problem with HTTPS is there's that encryption negotiation step that has to go on, and that could be 50 to 100 milliseconds. Plus, it takes a little extra CPU on each end to encrypt and decrypt and that kind of thing. But because the way HTTP works, or HTTP2 works, the page load process is super fast now. And typically you can get, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a ballpark at, let's say a 25% performance gain. And again, that's also a search engine ranking signal. And it's just, you just want to provide good, fast experiences for your consumers. And this is definitely the way to go. And definitely can make your secure pages load even faster. Now, as far as HTTPS adoption, Qualsys does a survey, and they're basically a SSL, security firm kind of thing. And this is, again, just a little bit outdated, but their survey shows over 60% of sites now use HTTPS, and the number is growing. That was a last summer number, but that number is growing significantly in the last few months. I think we're probably around 70% now. And honestly, if you look at the top sites, you're going to be looking at somewhere between 75 to 80% of them will also be properly using HTTPS. And I challenge you to go do kind of an anecdotal survey of search engine results, and I think you'll find that the top ranked sites, pretty much across the board, I would say 90% or more are using HTTPS. HTTP Archive, which is a site I like to refer to for web performance tracking, they go through twice a month and audit the top half, I think it's 500,000 sites according to Alexa, and they run web page test analysis over them. And out of the top million sites, this is one point last summer again, almost half the sites were using HTTPS, and I know that number has grown since then. Now, a big part of progressive web apps is to be secure. It's one of the key foundations is being secure. And if you're looking to learn how to build progressive web apps, I've got a great course If you just visit pwacourse.com, that'll allow you to register or enroll for $29, which will save you $171 off the regular $200 list price. As I'm talking to you right now, there's well over 20 hours of video tutorial content there for you, and there's more that'll be added in the near future. So this is great value, great opportunity for you to roll in and start your progressive web application journey, which of course includes being secure. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you got any questions about this, please leave this in the description below and give me a like. I've got a lot more videos on the way around HTTPS and progressive web apps, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a single video.